coronavirus continues to claim lives in New York City.
There's one thing you cannot say about Stefan Bondell is that he lives in a vacuum. He is not someone who is not responsive to history.
Yeah, I mean, I consider these history paintings.
Yeah. This is too much.
During this whole period of history, which maybe was one of the most turbulent periods you've probably lived through in this country, I wasn't seeing work about this subject. I felt that I had to do this. There wasn't any other choice. And from a commercial perspective, making this type of work is probably the worst idea ever.
Right.
And it's probably the first time we've seen Putin and Mohammed bin Salman in a gallery in Chelsea. It might even be one of the first times we've seen Trump in a painting in a
Donald
gallery.
Trump, I was about to say that.
Yeah.
Is it the first time you're using black and white as a...
No, I've been using black and white for a while, but this really comes out of the fast stroke and the emotional mark.
It's fascinating the way he drags the brush, and you see the hair of the brush on the painting.
What essentially painting is taking some dirt and rubbing it on some canvas.
You're an amazing painter. There's no question. Going from the eyebrows to the nose to the... It's absolutely incredible. It's one move.
Yeah.
He's the real deal.
Beyond the mark, I get really emotional when I'm speaking about these subjects, and I couldn't even get through all these works and the endurance and the physicality if I didn't feel this so deeply. I'm burdened by all this, the lack of justice and the tearing away of democracy, you know, and that's what's been so upsetting to not watch these issues confronted within painting as well, and why I felt the need to do that.
My wife is a doctor, and 3 years ago exactly, she loses one of her schoolmates from the medical school of Kiev. She's also Ukrainian. And he was on one of those things.
Respirator.
It was unbelievably tragic. Maybe it's too graphic to describe, but what I find interesting is that Bondell here uses black material. When you're on one of those things, your lungs turn into charcoal.
Yeah, they
You start spitting, not blood, but spitting charcoal is kind of reflected in this particular painting.
You know, we had one of the largest openings post-pandemic. We had 1,000 people here on the opening night gallery. There were many doctors and friends of mine who lost multiple family members, and they were confronted to see these two paintings of the pandemic. And it was a lot for doctors to come and sort of see the trauma that they had lived through. In New York City, where we had the largest death toll of any other city in the world, these paintings were painted in New York City at that moment. This was the first nurse who ever got vaccinated at Long Island Jewish Hospital, Sandra. She's a Jamaican nurse.
That's why my wife operates.
We had trucks and trucks of bodies, unmarked graves in Hart's Island. It's staggering. So this painting is one of the possibly the most difficult in the show. This is 2020 Vision. And you know, 2020 was such a tumultuous year. Beyond the pain, we had so much discord and the whole idea of statues coming down, statues going up, images that were regurgitated over and over again while we were all in quarantine. Here you have Frederick Douglass, who is the most photographed man of the 19th century, the great abolitionist, against an image of Washington's statue that came down, which mirrors Trump holding the Bible in the square. Here's Eric Prince, who is the mercenary leader, head of Blackwater, next to Rosie the Riveter. And this very seminal moment in our history when Trump and William Barr, the Attorney General, sent out the unmarked soldiers into the square, which was the first sort of sign of martial law and a possible rise of fascism. It was quite alarming.
Are you trying to point your fingers to any particular...
I'm really not trying to point fingers. I think that it's a tendency for people to want to move towards the political with this work, but I'm really framing this as history, and it's for you to bring your own feelings to this. I feel this is an accomplishment to be able to get this imagery up in a commercial gallery in New York City in the center of the art world.